Hello and welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you guys, new people may not actually be familiar with this, but I am pretty familiar with Judge Dredd Megacity 1. I had an exclusive interview with the owner of Rebellion, Jason Kingsley, and also the former head producer on the show, Brian Jenkins. Now, and I went up and viewed their massive print press studio that they just bought as well. I've had a tour. I've been around it, and I like what they were doing, but we've not had any news for a really long time, so I haven't done any videos for a really long time. And then I saw this pop up, and I've got to go through this step by step and refute it from what I know. And I'm not trying to defend Rebellion at all. And I will say I've even reached out to Jason Kingsley this morning, looking to get a comment. He doesn't have to say yes or refute these, but I just looked for a comment. And again, this is just from what I know up until now. This may be changed, but the evidence that they've used to sort of indicate that is kind of nonsensical, and I'll explain why. So, basically, what they're doing here is saying that Judge Dredd Megacity 1 is going to adapt the America storyline. Now, from what I know, no. That's not the case at all, actually. It's not the case at all. They were going to be leading off and circumventing a very popular storyline that had happened between Mega City 1 and another mega block, a mega super city structure. Just to give you some kind of hints and tips. It wasn't actually anything to do with the America storyline. And the America storyline is interesting for a few reasons. And if they did adapt it, it wouldn't be bad at all. It would actually be really, really good. But from what I know, and having seen certain storylines and things like that, this wasn't the case. However, and I will say that they may have changed it, but we'll get to it, we'll break it down. Okay, so this is going to be a really big update, and I will reveal some bits and pieces. I can't reveal too much. I've signed NDAs, all this good stuff. So I actually can't reveal too much, but I will say, from what I know, this is bunk. This is nonsense. So let's get into this article. This is on the Vulcan Reporter, right? Now, this article contains new details on the upcoming Megacity 1 television series. All rumour. Judge Dredd is a comic book franchise based on the longest running comic strip in 2000 AD, a British weekly anthology comic. The titular character in the franchise, Judge Dredd, is a law enforcement officer in the dystopian future city of Megacity 1. Dredd is a street judge, which allows him to, amongst other things, arrest, convict, sentence, and execute criminals. They are judge, jury, and executioner. That's the point of the judge system, and it is satirical. You're not really supposed to root for Judge Dredd. You are and you aren't. He's not like a one-dimensional character. He experiences change over a great deal of years. And it's when those changes happen that he becomes... I mean, he's an interesting character anyway, viewing the world through that lens. But it's satire. It was born out of Thatcherism and things like this. And it's supposed to be a huge satirical stab at everything. They even had a block war. So blocks were where people live, apartment buildings. A block war when Tom Cruise was going through a divorce. That's how satirical this is on current events. Now, the article goes on to say it was announced in May of 2017 that I Am Global and Rebellion have partnered to develop a live-action television series called Judge Dredd Megacity 1. The show was stated to be an ensemble drama about a team of judges as they deal with the challenges of the future-shocked 22nd century. Now, straight from the off, this is where the information is wrong, because yes, it was announced, but they're no longer with I Am Global at all. Because it was even then, it was Mark Stern. They split from Iron Global, and Mark Stern tried to take things. And there is, from what I could gather, I did a video on it, I'll try and leave it linked above, there was an ongoing legal issue actually involved between Rebellion and Mark Stern. So that is already where things are wrong. Because again, you can't have, it's just wrong information basically from the off. Now, it goes on to say that Jason Kingsley, the owner of Rebellion, has stated that the series will be far more satirical than the movie adaptations and could become one of the most expensive TV shows the UK has ever seen, which was always going to be the case in terms of the satire. He had long gone on record he was looking to make it very much more in line with the comics. He's a comic lover. He owns Rebellion. Rebellion owns 2000 AD. He bought that for a reason, because he loves Judge Dredd. So it makes sense. Now, according to Carl Urban, the studio's concept is to build the show around more rookie judges and young new judges, where Dredd himself would come in and out. Urban stated that he would be interested in reprising the role for this, on the condition that Dredd's part of the story is implemented in a meaningful way. In November 2018, Rebellion began setting up a new studio in Didcot, valued at $100 million, for film and TV series based on 2000 AD characters, including Judge Dredd, Megacity 1. Now, from my information, this is right. I mean, but it wasn't going to be rookie judges specifically. The core cast of this show were brand new characters. That's what they were looking to do. But that was when they were partnered with I Am Global and Mark Stern. And unfortunately, they had to scrap that pilot. That pilot, for that version, where all of the concept art, because that's the key part here, this is what they will talk on concept art, because they use that to back up their claim. But the pilot and the concept art was based on all of that, which they had to scrap because there's an ongoing legal issue, or there was anyway, with Mark Stern and I Am Global and the rights surrounding that specific version. So they've had to change it, right? So that's really, really important. And yes, he did say all of these things, and yes, it was stated to be one of the most expensive shows the UK had ever done. All pretty alright, fine stuff. Now, one of the things that I've learnt is that yes, this series is still happening. It was never not happening. It's never been cancelled. It's just always in a slow process. I can't imagine seeing this for like 5 years. That's why I've stopped talking about it. Because nothing I say is going to be positive right now. Because I really do think that Jason Kingsley has mishandled this. There's no two ways about it. I think he's a great guy. I've met him several times. He's lovely to chat to. He's a really nice guy. But unfortunately, he has mishandled this show. He has hired the wrong people. The right people have left. And yes, this is massively mishandled at this point in time. It was announced way too early. And then it was a series of missteps, mishandlings, and basically just people, staring at their navel rather than moving things forward, which they could have done. But they haven't. So that's why I've stopped talking about it, because I don't see this happening for at least 5 years now. We had no updates, and I've stopped bothering reaching out to Jason Kingsley, because I will, and I email him, and we just don't get any updates. Oh, it's still happening. It was never cancelled, but it's in this production or pre-production hell, and that is genuinely the case. And sorry if you're watching this, Jason Kingsley. I did reach out to you today. I was looking for an update. You haven't replied yet. It's now 3 o'clock on a Friday in the UK. End of plays around 4:30. You're not going to reply by now. I probably won't get a reply till next week. So it's unfortunate that I haven't had your say, and I have given him ample time. I emailed him about 8:30, I believe it was, looking for an update on this, and he has not provided a comment just yet. So anyway, moving on. While we haven't really heard much about this project recently, it is still in the works, though unfortunately development on the series has been halted in favour of the Leopard from Lime Street series that I scooped earlier this week. He's looking, and he did this anyway because he did Schools Out, right? Jason Kingsley is looking to get some smaller indie productions and films off the ground to get some money to recoup a huge loss currently in this Didcot studio. Rebellion Productions needs to make money. That's what's happening. It's a business, it's a subsidiary of Rebellion. It has to make money, or at least it's an offshoot of Rebellion. It has to start making money, and that's what they're doing. They are focusing on doing that first. That is why. So no huge surprise that, he's doing other things. Now, the main character in the pilot is American Jara. Now, unless they've changed everything, which they did, the new pilot anyway, yeah, maybe. But from what I knew, it was always going to be brand new judges. The things which I have read close to the show, there was no one in particular being called out. Now, America Jara was the daughter of a Puerto Rican couple who had moved to Megacity 1 in search of a better life. The actions of the judges caused her to choose a dark path that eventually led her to terrorism and murder. America Jara, being the main character, is to be expected as the show adapts the America storyline. And again, that actually wasn't the case. Now, unless they have actually finished a new pilot, again, remember, because they hadn't, nothing had actually been done. And it's really important to note, they start to talk about, or at least to back all of this up in other articles, has been the concept art. The concept art is not pertaining to anything with respect to this, because that wasn't the case. Now this is where I start to go, ooh, yeah, probably shouldn't do that. And this is where, ooh, I really don't like the fact that they're doing this. If this is the case, because from everything which I had known, every previous update that I had, this wasn't happening. This was not going to be happening. This is, from what I know anyway, this is bunk. Unless they've got a new, pilot, which they would have done very quickly, sort of, and a whole brand new slew of storyline for the entire series. Because this was nothing at all. The entire series was not based around this remotely. So they must have gone back to the complete drawing board for this to be, the case. Now, anyway, it goes on to say, the harsh, repressive law enforcement system embodied by Judge Dredd leads to both of them down a dark road, culminating in despair and death. John Wagner wrote America to try to show readers that Judge Dredd is actually a strip about what it is like to live under a fascist, totalitarian regime. Judge Dredd is a supporting character in the series. He is either being portrayed as a villain or an anti-hero. Personally, I think Dredd being an anti-hero makes more sense, though Dredd possibly being a villain also makes sense due to the storyline that the series is set to adapt. America was written to show that Judge Dredd is arguably the villain in his own series. It is currently unclear when the series is set to begin production. Again, really important to note, everything I had before this indicates that this is not true. Unless, quite literally, this is a brand new pilot with an entire brand new series narrative underway. Which could be the case. I did reach out to Jason Kingsley. He hasn't replied yet. That is the case. If he does reply and provides an update, then I'll do a video on it. But he hasn't replied yet. As of recording this video at 3 PM on Friday the 25th of September. So anyway, this video was quite literally just to refute it, give you a little bit more information. It was going to be brand new characters. Yes, Judge Dredd was going to be there, but he wasn't going to be, the core center of the show, which, some people like, some people dislike, but it is what it is. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. Would you like this? Would you dislike this? To me, I wouldn't like this at all. I wouldn't like this at all. I think this actually panders to the current state of affairs, i.e. people going to defund the police. And this is actually where I think this article has come from. I think this article, and I'm open to being wrong, but I think this article is there to pop up headlines like, oh, Megacity 1 is anti-police, anti-Judge Dredd. You see what I mean? I think this is where this article is born from. I cannot imagine that is what Jason Kingsley is going to do. And if it is, and you're watching this, Jason Kingsley, this is a bad fucking move. Because this is a terrible storyline to do for a fledgling series that people want to see Judge Dredd in. If you make him a villain, and you make all judges the villains, bad times, man. No one's going to want to watch this show, and it's going to crash and burn. And all these years, it has now been, what, three years? Gone to complete waste. So anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down below. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thank you all so much. I've been Mr. H. Take care.